Hey, I'm HIV positive, but because of U equals U, I can't infect my partner during sex, with or without a condom. Did you know that? Hey everyone, what's up? My name is Diana and I was born with HIV. Welcome to my channel where my goal is to help those who are positive and to help educate those who are negative. And in today's video, we are talking about undetectable equals untransmittable, or U equals U. This is probably one of the most important messages I will ever talk about. And because everyone's attention rate goes away in 10 seconds, this is what you need to know. A person who's HIV positive but takes their medication religiously such that the virus is suppressed cannot spread it to their sexual partners with or without a condom, oral, vaginal, or anal sex, whether the partner is on PrEP or not. It doesn't matter, the virus ain't spread. Now if you want, you can leave because that's all I wanted to tell you. I'm just kidding, please stick around to learn more. Before I get right into the U equals U campaign, let's first talk being HIV undetectable. What does that even mean? Either you're positive or you're negative. You have it or you don't, right? Well, actually, I'm kind of in the middle. You see, I have HIV, but my tests come back negative. So I think we need to define a new term for someone's status, and that would be HIV undetectable. So when I go to the doctors, I get my blood drawn. And one of the things we monitor is the viral load. This just tells us how much of the virus is actually present in our body. And of course, our goal is to make it as low as possible. As low as possible. Since I was born with it, I never really had to ask myself, am I HIV undetectable yet? I have been ever since I can remember. But for someone who was just recently diagnosed with the virus, they might have hundreds of thousands or even millions of copies per milliliter. To put things into perspective, this is 500 milliliters, this is 100 milliliters, and this small amount is roughly 1 milliliter. Imagine 1 million viruses in there. Crazy. Wild. It's actually pretty scary because this is when someone is most infectious because first off, they have so much of the virus in them, and second off, they probably don't even know they have it, so they're spreading it without knowing they are. The good news is once they get on ART, aka the medication we take, then they can reach HIV undetectable status rather quickly within more or less 6 months. Of course, the time it takes depends on the person, but once someone has been undetectable for a very long time, they usually stay there. So that's the good news. This line of being undetectable is usually when the virus is below 200 copies per milliliter. Keep that in mind. But usually the tests we take are sensitive enough to the 20 to 50 copy per milliliter level, which means that when my tests come back negative, I actually have less than 20 copies of the virus. Just saying. You might be wondering, wait, Diana, but if your lab results are always undetectable, then why do you have to keep taking medication? Glad you asked. Just because I'm undetectable doesn't mean I'm cured. The virus is pretty smart, obviously otherwise we would have found a solution already, and it knows how to hide itself from the immune system. It's actually quite fascinating how smart and elusive HIV is, but that's a different story. And technically, if I stop taking my medication, that's when the virus would replicate itself again, and that's when my viral load would go up. So that's why it's my responsibility to make sure I'm always taking the pill every single morning, and I go to the doctors to get my lab work done. So that's HIV undetectable. All right, cool. Now that we covered that basis, let's get into U equals U. This whole undetectable equals untransmittable campaign really started to get advertised and accepted in 2016 all over the world. But where did this come from? Where's the science that supports it? And what is it even? Let's focus on the study that really set this into motion called the PARTNER study. This was a European study that was based in the UK where they had 75 different locations in 14 different countries. The first part of it started in 2010 and it went until 2014. In this study, there were nearly 900 couples where one person was HIV positive and the other was HIV negative. They made sure that the positive person was always on their ARTs and that their viral load was less than 200 copies per milliliter. Remember how we defined that to be the undetectable limit? As for the HIV negative person, they made sure that this person was not taking PrEP, which is the preventative medication that HIV negative people can take in case they might be at risk of HIV. And the last requirement was they were making sure that these people were having condomless sex. Any type of sex, it doesn't matter, the world was their oyster, but it just had to be condomless. Actually, funny enough, they had to keep a sex diary of everything that was going on. Can you imagine journaling everything and telling someone that it's not your friends? In the name of science, am I right? You gotta do what you gotta do. All right, so out of these 900 couples, there were 58,000 sex acts. 58,000. That is a huge number, okay? And what were the results? 0 linked transmissions. Can we just take a step back? I mean, 58,000 times people were having sex and not a single linked transmission. Guys, this is huge. I mean, that's just incredible. Wow, I'm breathless. Like, round of applause, you know? Good job, science community. I will be honest with you though, I'm not gonna lie to you, there were some transmissions. Notice how I said linked? Turns out that some of the HIV negative partners were actually not loyal to their HIV positive partner, and they acquired HIV from someone else. They actually did phylogenetic tests or analyses to make sure that the HIV they acquired was not from the HIV positive partner, but rather from someone else. This just goes to show you can't always trust your partner. Yeah. But anyway, awesome. 0 linked transmissions. Amazing. But wait, there's even more. They continued the partner study to only focus on men who have sex with men, since anal sex poses a higher risk of transmission for HIV. So back to those 900 couples, some of them were heterosexual and some of them were men who have sex with men. Exactly the same setup as before, just a continuation, just solely focusing on gay couples. This part of the study, the second part, then brought the total number up to 800 gay couples who had sex roughly 77,000 times without a condom. And I think you guys already know where I'm going with this. That's right, 0 linked transmissions, yet again. And the thing is, it doesn't even stop there. There was also the Opposites Attract study, which was based in Australia, also focusing on gay couples. Then there was the Swiss statement where they were already showing evidence supporting U equals U. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming. Do I have to keep going, or have I already convinced you that the scientific evidence is all there? Well, I'll just also add, this information wasn't really even too new. The scientists always had an inkling about U equals U and its existence. It was just a matter of doing a very controlled, large-scale study to really prove it and hit the nail with the hammer. So the scientists knew it without actually knowing it. Do you know what I mean? Does that make sense? Welcome to the world of science, ladies and gentlemen, where you know the answer, but you have to prove it. Now, U equals U is widely accepted. And when I say widely, I mean 990 different organizations in 102 countries support it. For example, the CDC, NIH, just to name a few. So people, wake up. The science is there. It's just a matter of people letting go of the stigma. So please trust the science and don't fall for the stigma. And that's the purpose of the whole U equals U campaign. People with HIV who suppress their virus can no longer spread it to their HIV negative partners. And this whole campaign is trying to stop the stigma, which brings me to the implications of U equals U. Like I just said, this campaign is trying to stop the stigma. HIV positive people, or more so HIV undetectable people, be confident. We can sleep with anyone and we won't be able to transmit the virus. That's awesome news. But don't go too crazy, okay? Also, negative people can feel more at ease when they do sleep with someone with HIV because they know they can't get it. So U equals U is really trying to stop the stigma. And we finally have the scientific proof for this. So thank you so much for the scientific community for making this happen. I mean, I'm really happy about this. That being said, this campaign came out in 2016. Yet it seems like the message hasn't been spread. Well, not yet anyway, because everyone I've told since still hadn't known about it. So telling new partners still gives me not a lot of anxiety, but I just have to really mentally prepare myself for whatever outcome might be. And I always just have to assume the worst, that they don't know anything about it and they have to reject me. Yeah, so the message still needs to be spread. Another big thing, just because we can't spread it without a condom does not mean you should never, ever have to wear a condom again. Please keep wearing one, because there's so many other things that could happen, because you could get pregnant, you could get another STI. It does not protect you against anything else. So always rubber up. Don't want to get pregnant. And scientists have been finding that people have become a little bit more careless and engage in more risky sex behavior just because they think, oh, I don't need to wear a condom because I can't get HIV. You are not invincible. You can still get other things. Put a condom on. Always. To add on to that, like Dr. Fauci said,
U equals U only when you really is you.
meaning that it's the responsibility of the HIV positive person to make sure that they're taking their medication daily such that they do have an undetectable viral load. Because if you is not you, then you equals you does not work. You know what I mean? Okay, good. Right, now I want to end this video with some food for thought. Ask yourself, knowing this information now, would you sleep with someone who is HIV undetectable? I'm just curious, asking for a friend. Then the other thing I would ask is, if someone is HIV undetectable and they cannot infect their partner based on the science, do you think it is their responsibility to tell a partners before having sex that they have HIV? Because technically they can't spread it, so is there the necessity to have to tell them, right? Let me know what you guys think in the comments, because I will definitely be discussing these topics in future videos, and I'm curious what other people have to say about this topic. With that being said, this information needs to be spread. So if you enjoyed it, please share it with your friends, family, sex ed high school teachers, doctors, whatever. Maybe that random guy you met in line at the grocery store, just anyone, honestly. Because this information needs to become more common knowledge. Don't you think so? And yeah, all right, then I guess I'll see you next time. Ciao. This is when you know you're single AF, you know? This is literally how I'm spending my Saturday afternoon.